I want you to imagine, just for a second, that you have the single biggest presentation of your entire career today, like the kind of high-stakes moment that determines whether you get the massive promotion or, whether you're just stuck in the corporate mailroom forever.
Oh, yeah. The pressure in that kind of scenario is absolute. I mean, you can literally feel your heartbeat in your ears just walking up to the front of the room.
Right, and you do it. You actually ace the presentation, the clients are thrilled, you get the promotion. But, and here's a catch, you only pull it off after you physically tripped over the projector cord walking up to the podium.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And you dropped all of your meticulously organized index cards all over the floor and sweated profusely through the first 5 agonizing minutes while a room full of executives just stared at you in absolute silence.
Okay, well, it's a win, but it is an incredibly ugly, panic-inducing win that just leaves you needing a very, very long nap.
Exactly. And that is precisely the kind of ugly win we are unpacking today. So welcome to your personalized deep dive. Today, our source material is a really detailed match report of a crucial T20 World Cup cricket match between India and Bangladesh.
And, if you just glance at the final scorecard over your morning coffee, it paints a very soothing, comfortable picture. India won by 5 wickets, chasing down a target of 136.
Right, which sounds totally fine.
Yeah, they even had 19 balls to spare. So
Yeah.
on paper, it looks clinical, a total walk in the park.
But the mission of our deep dive today isn't just to read you a tidy little scorecard. We are going to analyze the absolutely chaotic reality of what actually happened on that pitch.
Because it was definitely chaotic.
Oh, completely. We're going to explore how India managed to keep their semifinal hopes alive despite a genuine comedy of errors, and what this roller coaster of a match teaches us about surviving high-pressure situations when literally nothing goes according to plan.
Yeah, the distance between the stat sheet and the actual lived experience of this match is, well, it's vast. We're looking at a masterclass in how a team can look entirely broken, completely forget their most basic skills, and yet still somehow just stumble across the finish line.
So let's set the scene here. We are at Old Trafford. The match report notes that it's a flat strip, and there is this scorching sun beating down. Bangladesh is batting first. Now, I watch enough sports to know conditions dictate everything, right? But for those of us who aren't reading pitch reports every day, what does a flat strip actually mean for the players walking out there?
So a flat strip essentially means the pitch is very batter-friendly. The surface is hard. It's even, meaning when the bowler delivers the ball, it bounces very predictably.
Okay, so no weird surprises.
Exactly. There are no sudden deviations, no wild spin, no unexpected changes in height. The ball just comes onto the bat really nicely. For a batter, it's an absolute dream.
That for the fielders?
Oh, for a fielding side, it is a nightmare. It means your bowlers have almost zero margin for error, and your fielders absolutely must catch any opportunity that comes their way.
Because you're not going to get any chances.
Right. The expectation here was a tight, professional clinical performance from India in the field to just restrict Bangladesh.
The reality, however, was a complete unmitigated fielding meltdown. I mean, it starts in the 4th over. Renuka Singh, who was actually brought into the starting 11 to replace Arundhati Reddy for this match, gets an early breakthrough.
Right. Dilara Akhtar is caught at deep square leg.
Yeah. So far, so good. India has their opening.
But then the wheels just immediately detach from the vehicle. The very next batter, Quaria Ferdousas, comes to the crease and just hits Renuka straight back for a 4.
Wow.
And just 3 balls later, Ferdousas hoists the ball toward deep mid-wicket. Goes to Radha Yadav, and context is important here. She had already dropped Merzan Cap twice in India's previous match.
Oh, geez. So she's already probably in her own head.
Exactly. And Radha puts down a completely simple chance. The ball goes right through her hands and runs away for a boundary.
It's like a virus instantly spreads through the entire team. Because in the very next over, the 5th over of the match, Nandini Sharma misses not 1 but 2 opportunities in the span of 3 balls.
2 and 3 balls, yeah.
First, Sopana Mastri drives the ball uppishly at cover. Now, when the report says uppishly, we are talking about a shot hit in the air, right? Like an absolute gift for the fielder.
It is the ultimate gift. I mean, a drive is usually meant to be hit along the ground, but Mastri misjudges it and just pops it up in the air toward the cover fielder. It should be a routine catch.
But Nandini misses it.
She drops it. And it gets worse. 2 balls later, Ferda skies a sweep shot. It goes high into the air. Nandini dives to her left. She gets there. She actually grabs the ball with both hands.
Wait, she had it.
She had it. and then drops it as she hits the ground.
Man, that is 3 dropped catches in the space of just 4 deliveries. And the cost is immediate, right? Because Ferreras and Mosteri completely capitalize on these extra lives. The run rate spikes up to 6.40, and Ferreras gets this massive boost in confidence.
Yeah, you give a batter a second chance, they usually make you pay.
Okay, let's unpack this.
Yeah.
Because anyone who has ever played a sport or honestly just had a high-pressure day at the office can relate to this sudden, bizarre loss of basic skills.
Oh, absolutely.
It reminds me of like the yips in golf, where a seasoned pro who has hit a million putts suddenly can't sink a 3-footer, or when you panic during a test and suddenly forget your own phone number.
Right, your brain just blanks.
Yeah. When a professional team at the World Cup level suddenly forgets how to close their hands around a ball, is it a technical breakdown, or is the pressure of a knockout scenario just completely frying their nervous system?
Well, the mechanics of catching a cricket ball do not change just because you're at the World Cup. Your hands still work the exact same way.
That's true.
The breakdown is almost entirely psychological, and it manifests physically. When a player gets anxious, their muscles tense up. To catch a cricket ball safely, you need what they call soft hands. You have to cushion the impact.
Oh, interesting. So if you're stressed...
If your arms are rigid with tension, the ball just bounces off your palms like they're made of concrete.
Wow, that makes so much sense. It is the literal physical manifestation of panic.
And dropped catches are notoriously contagious in cricket. When you see a really reliable teammate drop a simple chance, the anxiety level of the entire fielding circle just spikes.
Right. Everyone gets tight.
The internal monologue of every player out there shifts from, I hope the ball comes to me so I can make a play, to please don't let the ball come to me. I really don't want to be the next one to mess up.
Suddenly the ball feels like it weighs 50 pounds.
Exactly. And think about what that does to the broader momentum of the game. These early gifts to a power hitter like Ferreras, who ended up reaching 33 runs, they alter the psychological state of both the fielding and batting sides.
The batters must feel invincible.
Right. Bangladesh realizes they have a free pass. They can take wild risks because India isn't going to punish their mistakes. Meanwhile, India starts second-guessing everything. Their field placements get super defensive. The bowlers start trying way too hard.
It just spirals.
The source material even notes that aside from the drops, India's lines and lengths with the ball were just completely wrong early on. The panic from the fielders leaked directly into the bowling attack.
Yeah, and because the fast bowlers and the fielders let Bangladesh get off to this flying start, pushing them on a trajectory toward a 140-plus score on a flat pitch, a massive rescue mission was required.
A huge rescue mission.
The pressure shifted entirely to India's spinners to just clean up the mess.
The spinners had to completely reset the narrative.
Yeah.
And, the poetry of sports is that the reset starts with Nandani Sharma, the exact same player who dropped those 2 catches earlier.
I love a good redemption arc.
Oh, it's classic. She manages to hold on to what the match report calls the fastest catch of the day. It was this fiercely hit return champs directly off the bat from Ferreras, who was sitting comfortably on 33.
Wow, so she caught the hardest ball of the day after dropping the easy ones.
Exactly. And that single catch finally broke a second wicket stand that had just crossed the 50-run mark.
That moment really seemed to break the fever dream for India. Because soon after that, Deepti Sharma takes a nice, simple catch at mid-off, which is essentially a fielding position fairly close to the batter on the offside, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So she dismisses Mosteri for 22. And that was crucial because Mosteri had just hit a massive 17-run over against Nandani.
Yeah, and even though Bangladesh's captain Nagar Sultana scored a really solid 32 to try and keep their run rate from just collapsing, the final phase of the innings belonged entirely to the Indian spinners.
The death overs.
Right, the death overs. For anyone unfamiliar, the death overs are the final few overs of an innings where the batting team basically throws caution to the wind. They try to smash every single delivery to the boundary, and the bowlers are, well, they're basically just fighting for survival.
But India's spinners didn't just survive here, they dominated. Radha Yadav, who was actually brought into the starting 11 for Prema Rawat, along with Sri Charani and Deepti Sharma, orchestrate this brutal collapse.
It was incredible to watch.
Bangladesh loses 5 wickets for just 28 runs in those final 4 overs. Radha Yadav finishes with brilliant figures of 3 wickets for 28 runs, and Deepti Sharma completely dries up the runs at the other end.
Just a total stranglehold.
But I have to push back a little on this narrative of a great recovery, though.
Yeah.
Yes, the spinners were brilliant at the death, but wait. I mean, if you need a magical 5 for 28 collapse in the final 4 overs, just to restrict a team to a relatively average score of 136 for 8? Isn't that a massive red flag for their overall strategy?
Oh, absolutely.
You can't draw up a game plan that relies on a miracle finish every single time.
Relying on a late collapse is absolutely living dangerously. Is not a sustainable model at all. But But what this specific performance shows, and why it provides such a valuable lesson for us looking at high-pressure environments, is the raw power of compartmentalization.
Oh, so.
To execute those precise deliveries perfectly in the final 4 overs, those spinners had to completely mentally erase the first 10 overs of the match.
Just wiped the slate clean.
Exactly. They had to forget the dropped catches, they had to forget the bad lines and lengths, and focus entirely on the ball in their hand in that exact second. It is a masterclass in not letting a terrible start dictate your finish.
That's a great point.
They systematically dismantled the lower order when the pressure was at its absolute peak and pulled Bangladesh back from the verge of surpassing 140.
Okay, so India survives their own fielding disaster. Bangladesh is restricted to 136 for 8. The narrative shifts. It's India's turn to bat, and they have to chase down 137 to win. But, the universe clearly has a funny sense of humor, because just as Bangladesh gifted India lives in the field, the favor is immediately returned.
It was almost a mirror image of the first innings. The source material highlights that Bangladesh came out with their own handful of gifts. In the very first over of the run chase, Bangladesh's Sultana dropped Shafali Verma when she has only scored 4 runs.
4 runs. And her opening partner, Smriti Mantana, also benefits from some near misses. She gets away with a tricky underedge off the bowling of Marufa Akhtar before finally being caught by a diving Rabea Khan at cover.
Right, which ends their opening partnership at 31 runs.
But that early dropped catch on Shafali Verma, though, that becomes the defining moment of the entire match. Shafali just decides to completely take over the game.
She really did.
She goes into absolute boss mode. The report describes her perfecting these V-swings and using a powerful bottom hand to dominate. Now, for those of us who aren't cricket coaches, what does that actually look like on the pitch, and why is it so effective on a flat strip like Old Trafford?
Yeah, so when we talk about playing in the V, we mean the batter is hitting the ball relatively straight down the ground, creating this V-shape area between the bowler and the boundary ropes.
Okay, got it.
It is the most fundamentally sound way to bat, because you're playing with a straight bat, which minimizes the risk of edging the ball. And as for the bottom hand, most of a batter's control comes from their top hand on the handle, but their power comes from the bottom hand.
So she's just muscling it.
Exactly.
Right.
Shafali has this incredibly dominant bottom hand grip that just generates pure brute force. On a flat pitch where the ball isn't spinning or bouncing wildly, she can just trust her eye, swing through the line of the ball, and rely on that sheer power to muscle the ball to the boundary. It is incredibly intimidating for a bowler.
Oh, I can imagine. It was a display of pure dominance. By the end of the power play, those crucial early overs where fielding restrictions make it easier to score boundaries, India has 63 runs on the board.
Huge start.
Yeah, just to put that into perspective, Shafali alone hit 7 fours and a 6 in that period. The entire Bangladesh team only managed 5 fours in their entire power play. She reaches her half-century in just 29 balls.
She was unstoppable.
But here's where it gets really interesting, though. Watching this run chase it's like watching someone drive a sports car at 100 miles an hour, but the steering wheel is slowly coming off in their hands.
That is a perfect analogy.
You have Shafali's clinical, brutal power hitting on one end, and then absolute chaos erupts in the middle order.
The dreaded middle order wobble. Shafali eventually gets dismissed for 53. She gets stumped, meaning she stepped out of her crease to hit the ball, missed it, and the wicketkeeper caught the ball and broke the stumps before she could get her bat back behind the line.
Right, and this is where India's management makes a highly tactical and highly controversial decision. They decide to try and boost their net run rate, or NRR.
Yeah, this gets into the tournament math.
Exactly. Because winning a match gets you points. But if teams are tied on points, the net run rate determines who advances. It basically measures how fast you score your runs compared to how fast you let the other team score theirs.
That's the formula. So India's management realizes they're cruising toward a victory. Instead of just calmly finishing the game, they decide they want to win it in a hurry to pump up that NRR metric. They promote Richa Ghosh, who's a very aggressive hitter, up the batting order over Jemima Rodriguez. And this tactical shift completely backfires.
It totally reminds me of Goodhart's Law.
Oh.
When a measure becomes a target, it ceases to be a good measure. They stopped targeting the win and started targeting the math.
Exactly.
Ghosh hits 2 early boundaries but then gets dismissed. Yastika Bhatia gets dismissed in the very next over. Suddenly, India's losing wickets rapidly before they've even reached 100 runs.
They slipped to 98 for 4. And the panic we saw in the field earlier returns with a vengeance. This comfortable chase almost becomes a disaster because of a series of completely comical near runouts.
Oh man, reading the report, it feels like a slapstick comedy routine. You can vividly picture the frantic yelling and the diving into the dirt. Jemima Rodriguez has to literally dive back to the wicketkeeper's end after nearly running into her own partner in the middle of the pitch.
That was madness.
She is dead to rights, and she only survives because Bangladesh's Nahida Akhtar somehow misses the throw from short fine leg.
It's a total breakdown in communication from India.
Yeah.
And just an absolute gift from Bangladesh. And it didn't stop there.
No, it didn't.
Just 4 balls later, the captain, Harmanpreet Kaur, is caught completely out of her crease. She would have been run out by a mile at the bowler's end, but Bangladesh's short actor misses the direct hit at the stumps.
You can almost hear the collective gasp from the crowd. It is pure survival mode. They are running like crazy for a very specific mathematical reason, but they are forgetting how to actually run between the wickets.
Yeah, they totally lost the plot.
Finally, Jemima Rodriguez seems to sense the impending doom and decides to just end the madness. She scores 20 runs off the very next 5 balls she faces, hitting 3 fours and a massive 6, bringing them within 9 runs of the target before she finally skies a catch.
And Harmanpreet and Deepti Sharma finally mercifully crossed the finish line. They close it out at 139 for 5, with 19 balls remaining.
Thank goodness.
Looking closely at that middle order wobble, it's a fascinating study in the dangers of taking your eye off the immediate goal. India was so focused on optimizing this secondary metric, the net run rate, that they almost sacrificed the primary goal of actually securing the 2 points for winning the match.
Right, they got too clever for their own good.
Prioritizing the tournament math created a level of instability that nearly cost them everything. You just can't optimize your victory before you've actually secured it.
That observation pulls the lens back nicely to the big picture here. Because there is a reason India was so desperate to boost that net run rate, even if it meant taking crazy risks. We have to zoom out from this single chaotic afternoon at Old Trafford and look at the context of the entire World Cup standings.
The stakes couldn't be higher at this stage of the tournament. The match report outlines exactly where things stand in Group 1. India is currently sitting in second place. They are 2 points ahead of both South Africa and Bangladesh.
So this win, as ugly and nerve-wracking as it was, means their semifinal qualification is technically on track. But there is a massive clinical storm brewing on the horizon. Their biggest game of the entire tournament is looming this Sunday against Australia, with a knockout spot officially on the line.
That is going to be a huge game.
Huge. Meanwhile, for Bangladesh, this loss drastically reduces their hopes, though mathematically they aren't entirely dead yet. They have a must-win match against South Africa at Lord's on Sunday. So I have to ask the so what question for everyone observing this. Why should we, as fans or analysts, care if India won ugly or won beautifully today? I mean, they got the 2 points, they moved up the table, they survived. At the end of the day, isn't a win just a win?
Well, in a vacuum, yes. But in a long tournament, a final scorecard often hides a team's true vulnerabilities. The source material points out a very alarming trend for India. This is their 4th consecutive game where their, quote, batting worries have followed them.
Wow. 4 games in a row of the middle order just wobbling under pressure.
Exactly. When you combine 4 matches of batting collapses with the kind of sloppy fielding we saw today, dropping 3 catches in the space of 4 deliveries, you are establishing a very clear pattern of behavior. And a dominant team like Australia, they don't just notice those patterns, they ruthlessly exploit them.
Oh, they certainly won't miss a direct hit on a run out at the bowler's end.
Exactly the point. Surviving your own mistakes is a great feeling in the moment. It feels like escaping a burning building. But relying on your opponent's errors to save you, like Bangladesh missing those easy runouts or dropping Shafali Verma when she was only on 4 runs, is not a sustainable strategy for winning a World Cup.
You can't depend on it.
You cannot bank on the other team blinking first when you are preparing to play the very best in the world.
It brings us right back to the beginning. It's the presentation where you tripped on the projector cord. You got away with it this time because the client was forgiving and you somehow recovered your notes, but you cannot make a habit of it if you want to stay at the top of your field.
Precisely.
So, to briefly recap this incredibly wild ride, India survives a terrifyingly sloppy start under the sun, dropping 3 catches almost immediately as the pressure mounts. The spinners step up and put on an absolute masterclass at the death, taking 5 wickets for just 28 runs to pull Bangladesh back from the brink.
What a comeback.
Yeah, and then Shafali Verma comes out and goes scorched earth, using her bottom hand dominance for an explosive 53. Then the middle order completely panics, chasing a net run rate boost, resulting in some truly comical run-out escapes. Ultimately, they limp across the finish line, securing the victory with 19 balls to spare.
A roller coaster from the first ball to the very last.
Which leaves us with one final thought to mull over as we wrap up this deep dive. I want you to consider the psychological weight of an ugly win like this as they prepare for Sunday. When you win a high-stakes game despite playing poorly, does it shatter your confidence because you know deep down you got incredibly lucky?
That's the million-dollar question.
Or does it actually make you feel invincible because you survived your absolute worst possible day and still came out on top? Imagine taking that exact chaotic, unpredictable, lightning-in-a-bottle energy into a knockout match against a clinical machine like Australia. Will that chaos be India's ultimate undoing, or is it secretly their greatest weapon?
We will definitely find out.
We certainly will. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. Keep questioning the scorecards, keep exploring the hidden narratives, and we'll see you next time.